are back. It's been, I think, almost 2 months since right after the All-Star meet, since we did anything.
Yeah, I think we were kind of hiding out for a little while. It was getting a little crazy online, and there was big announcements and all kinds of stuff happening. So
yeah, we got busy, and then had I guess a few people kind of took some of our steam. So we are re-energized and ready to go. This video will accompany some updated rankings that'll get posted tonight. And we also wanted to do a little, one of the things we talked about when we first started putting this stuff together was taking a chance to do like some previews of some of the biggest and most exciting events around the state, and this weekend is definitely one of those, and we have our first special guest directly from Ryle. We have Coach Wagers with us, so to give us a little insight as we're doing a little preview of the Raider Rumble.
all right, it's good to be back. We I think with the rankings, we were waiting for body fat to come in. You know, it's almost a guessing game when you figure we go from last year, some kids we don't see, and we have to just speculate, okay, well, this kid will probably grow into this weight class. And now that body fats are in, it makes it a little easier to put the kids in the correct weights. And we've actually had some competition for, I guess this will be the third weekend of wrestling, right? So we've been checking events, looking at head-to-heads and seeing how people are doing. So like Jason said, the new rankings will be posted tonight. And you know, we thought posting those right before the Great Big Raider Rumble would be a good thing to do. So
I guess one last little thing on the rankings. We'll see some kids have been shifted in weight. Not everyone will be still competing at the weight where we have them ranked, because we still think there might be some dropping going on at some point, especially after Christmas. So there's still going to be some changes going on. I'm sure some strategic, some just descent plan changes. But for now, things just are where we think kids will end up. And with that, Coach Wagers, anything you want to add before we get going? No? Okay. And
we got to keep this under an hour, right?
that's our goal.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get started.
Let's shoot for that. Yeah. 14 weight classes. It's going to be tough, but we'll see what we can do. Worst case, about halfway through, I'll make a pause and we can chop it in two. But we'll shoot for that. All right. Let's jump right in. 106. I think 106 is kind of a perfect example of what the first half, 106 to 145, we have a number of pretty highly ranked, pretty tough kids. And 106 is a good example of that. And actually, I didn't go through, I don't know if one of you guys did or not. We might have, how many of the number one ranked guys are going to be here this weekend? There's at least 7 or 8, right? Especially when you take into account one of the kind of tricks in this.
I'd say 7 to 8.
In this preview is figuring out who is going to be competing, with Trinity having at least a good portion of their team up at the Ironman. I know Brandon, our team, we have a couple guys taking ACT, one guy doing a football visit. So I'm sure the ACT is going to have a number of kids out. So this is just what we anticipate being there. But with that 106, we'll have number 1, Adam Bender, returning state placer. He was 4th last year. One of the new little changes in the rankings, number 2, Nate Wheeler, who just had a big win over Mikey Klein. We'll also have number 7 and number 8, Brandon Miller and Chase Yost. Those guys just had a match at the Bearcat Brawl on Saturday, and Miller won that one. So those are kind of your top 10 guys in Kentucky. Also, we have Aaron Brossard from Ryle. We're just talking a little bit about him. He will. I spent most of the preseason expecting him to be 13, or maybe even heard some people talking he'd grown a lot over the summer, maybe 120. So I'm guessing he's going to be a pretty good size 106. I know he's going to be tall, definitely. Should also have Brendan Pye from Scott and Connor Goldsmith from Trinity. And then one of the better out-of-state guys in this weight class, I think it's Caden Brooks. He's ranked number 12 in Indiana right now. So I'm sure he will be someone to be reckoned with in this bracket. So what I rattled off there, eight really tough guys that I would expect to be competing for the placements.
So they will seed the top 4, put those guys.
Last year we did maybe
pools.
5 or 6.
I think it's 6,
Yeah.
because you'll have 4 pools.
Okay.
Yes.
If there's enough criteria, they might do 8
Yeah.
with 4 pools.
And then once they wrestle out of that, you win your pool, then they're going to bracket.
Yes.
They'll have a semi-match and a finals.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how Rooks will fit in there, if he has any criteria for being a freshman from Indiana. I guess one of the criteria was your junior high state placement last year. That falls in there, so that could get him in there, but Yost was a state champ, so Rooks could be.
So he might just get thrown in there.
He could be a spoiler coming out of the pool, so yeah, that could be interesting.
Wow. All right. I'd be curious because I'm dying to see old Adam Bender's size.
Yeah.
If he continued growing, he's going to be a big boy at 106. So
Definitely.
I believe he's the only kid coming from that team, right?
Yes.
So they're just, I don't know what happened, where the rest of the team goes, but I guess he is coming. Well, all right, we'll see. I think seeding there is probably going to be.
It's going to be a key component.
Yeah.
And how do you with Rooks, what criteria we have, or did you got Nate and Yost?
Yeah, I think
Both
Bender is easy with a state placement. Wheeler, I guess he would be a middle school state champ as well. So not knowing what Rooks' middle school state results were last year, it's hard to tell. So Yost and Wheeler should at least be able to get seeded based on that.
But does the head-to-head come into play with Wheeler beating Klein and Miller beating Yost?
Head-to-head is a part of it.
This year's head-to-head or last
Yes,
year's head-to-head?
This year.
This year.
Head-to-head is one of the criteria.
Okay.
But then where would you put Brossard, who's a returning state qualifier? Is that above a junior high state championship?
I don't
Well,
remember.
we have to ask a Ryle guy.
I can't remember. I just put some of that information. I can't remember the order where that fell.
I would think they would take a high school
Regional placer above.
above,
Yeah, I would think so.
so there's a shot he gets a 2 seed.
Wow.
That's possible.
That definitely shakes things up.
Yeah, I'd like to see what he looks like at 6. We saw him in Michigan, and I've spoken to his dad a handful of
See him up there.
times, and it sounds like he's putting in a lot of work, and so
He's put a lot of time into something.
we'll see.
For sure.
We'll see how he goes.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to be an interesting one. And yeah, I think
Squeakers.
I think a lot of people expected Bender to be a 108 after Christmas and not 106 from the beginning. So we'll see.
And doesn't Bender and Rooks have some history?
I think it's the older Rooks.
Is it the older one, Caden Rooks? Is that
Graham.
Graham
Graham's,
Brooks?
yeah.
Okay, because I remember Bearcat Brawl, what was that, 2 years ago?
Couple
They
years
had a
ago.
pretty,
Yep.
because he lost to him at
John.
Harden, and then came back in the finals of Bearcat Brawl, and it was a pretty intense match, so. All right.
Good.
13?
13. Another weight where we have a number of top 10 guys. You got number 1, Tylen Tucker, who was 3rd at 106 last year. Tanner Yenter, who was the state runner-up at 106. Blake Roth was 8th at 106. He's right now ranked number 4 at 106. Then you have Connor Krasik, who's ranked number 7. And then coming in from Columbus East, I'm gonna maybe butcher this name, Shonagi, something like that. He's ranked number 13 in Indiana. He may be another freshman, so I'm not sure what his criteria will be. A couple other ranked guys, Shea Horton and Seth Lutz down there right at the edge of the top 25. Both young guys that get in there and see how they compete. I guess the good thing about them being young is it's not like any of these other guys are juniors and seniors. We're talking about a lot of young guys here in this bracket, so they won't be giving up a lot of age, just maybe some high school experience.
So it looks to me with placement, Tanner gets the 1.
Tucker has a win over him this year.
This year?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tucker gets a 1, Tanner gets a 2, Roth gets the 3,
The state placement, yeah.
state placement with Trump, and then maybe the Columbus East kid.
Those guys probably go 4 and 5 is my guess. Him and Crazy.
Yeah.
Probably settle on 4 and 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Wrestle each other to see who gets it. Yeah.
Man, another loaded bracket.
Yeah, I think, and I guess we didn't necessarily go this route, but Tucker has beat most everybody in that group. I guess he has wins over Yenter and Roth this season already, so he's definitely the favorite. But I guess, and go back in their history, Yenter and Roth both have wins over him as well at some point in the past. So, yeah, those are guys that have wrestled a lot, and you throw Crazy in there as well. He's been in that bunch for a number of years. So, all guys are very familiar with each other.
Man, it's like a state tournament. Goodness.
It's a good preview.
All right,
Yeah,
120, what do we got?
120.
Man,
We've been going back and forth a little bit on this one. This might be the weight class of the tournament. I think I was actually just giving my wife a little update before I left the house for practice tonight that with different weight classes, when you throw the Indiana kids in there, 7 guys ranked in the top 5 in this weight class. Start with defending state champ Saul Irvin. Then you have Brady Wells and Ryan Moore, who were 2nd and 3rd at 113 last year. Tucker Hurst, who was 4th at 113, the state champ the year before. And those guys were 1, 2, 3, 4 at this tournament last year. Then you bring in from Indiana, Graham Rooks, who's ranked 5th. He was 3rd in Indiana at 106 last year.
returning champ.
Yeah, it's true. He was a returning champ. So he got
The
another
Rumble champ.
Raider Rumble champ.
So does state placement criteria?
I think
That
that
is
criteria is above
Okay.
returning Raider status, yes.
Then you bring in Austin Cook, who was 6th at 113 last year. He's a 2-time state placer. Up from 113, Brandon Miller. He's ranked 5th at 113, and he was 7th at 106 last year. So you got all 7 of those guys who were, and we just saw at the Bearcat Brawl last week. You know, Miller's going to be a little bit small in that group, but I mean, he was right there with Tucker Hurst. I actually had a lead on him early in the match, and then Hurst kind of turned it on. But he can wrestle with those guys. Then down toward the bottom of the rankings, but some other tough kids. A name we haven't heard in a while, Brandon, Toby Siddons from Moore.
Toby Siddons.
He is kind of been missing in action. He is back at. I saw he actually competed last weekend, so
At
he's in there.
120.
And I assume Clayton Boyd is going to be in there at 120. I think he wrestled at 126 last weekend. He was pretty light. I assume he's going to be in there. So that's going to be a fun one. I was actually texting too with Rusty Parks today about how fun this weight class is going to be.
So who gets the one? Saul?
Saul he's state champ, defending Rumble champ. I think it's a pretty easy number one.
And how does Ryan or Wells gets the two?
I'm not sure what they're going to do there.
Head to head, Ryan has the win.
Head to head this year?
Not this
They have
year.
wrestled this year.
I don't
last
think-
year.
I don't think they'll count it from last year, so
So that means
it'll go off your criteria.
Wells rolls into the two.
two.
Ryan with the 3. Hurst get the 4. I mean, we have Rooks in there somewhere, right?
Rooks is if it's state placement, he was 3rd, so he would. Actually, you know what? He could get the 3. You could probably argue that with the defense. Him and Ryan were both 3rd at state. He was the Raider Rumble champ last year.
Yeah.
That's true. So that criteria would trump if they both had the same placement.
Could get
So it looks like it might end up Saul, Brady, Graham, Ryan.
yeah.
All right, we'll see how
This weight class.
that shakes out. My goodness.
This weight class is worth the price of admission.
It's going to be fun.
This one, period. Hands down.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna see some good matches. And there's so many kids that, I mean, just the first few rounds you're gonna have.
You'll have quarters, second round matches that are
Oh, yeah.
top kids.
Top guys.
You wanna pick a winner?
Well, and then just long, kind of to finish off that whole thing. I mean, you talk almost every quarter because Austin Cook is right there. He competes with all these guys, and like I said, Miller was right there with Tucker Hurst last week. I think he can technically compete with a lot of them. And then those guys like Boyd and Siddons are just fill-ins in the pools. So I mean there's not going to be any easy matches where you go out there and you just stick somebody in 30 seconds. I don't think.
And no Stork yet. 26.
I believe he'll be 26.
All right, well, we'll, yeah. Wow. All right, where are we at? 126?
126.
You've got our list there, M&M's.
Okay. Well, having some, just walked out of practice. I had a little pick-me-up Mountain Dew and Raisinets.
I can't wait for that weight class.
Okay, 126. We have number 1, Zane Brown. He was state runner-up at 120 last year. Number 2, Clayton Hanson. Missed last year with shoulder injury. He's back at it. He's at St. X now. Number 4, Dakota Lilly. He was a state placer at 120 last year. And then number 7, Jake Peace. Number 7 from 120, Tyler Stork. And then Cody Schultz from Scott. Yeah, I think.
What about Connor Canberra?
No Fern Creek.
No, Fern Creek.
At least what I think I was hearing from Henry Clay is for another week or so, they're gonna have Miller and Stork, and I guess that impacts Kevin Richards too. They're gonna be up for at least a couple weeks here, so I'm assuming Stork will be at 126.
The only one that I keep staring at is Zane and Clayton. But, Clayton being off the mat, I haven't seen him wrestle yet, so I saw him one time at ETC, and I think the shoulder was still bothering him, but it's been quite a while. He should be fully healed.
I haven't seen him, but I did have a discussion with Coach Nabel at the coaches clinic, and just asked him how Clayton was doing, and he said he was just thoroughly impressed with how hard he worked. That he definitely showed up at St. X ready to put in the work, and was kind of an instant leader in that group and pushing everybody. So sounds like he's going to show up prepared. But that definitely a match. I think one of those finals I'll be excited to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Clayton's style, I would think some points are going to be scored in that match.
Yeah, he's fast. Yeah. All right. Well, that one. I think those are the two glaring guys that are coming out of there. I would guess. All right, 132.
132. I don't think you said you looked at the Ironman entries. Keegan Duncan was on there for Trinity.
Yep.
So I don't think we're going to see Duncan, our number 1 ranked guy, 32. But we should have number 2 Sheffer, state champ from 120 last year, actually 2-time state champ. Joey Roberts, who's ranked 4th, he was 3rd at 120 last year. And number 10, Justin Torgerson. We'll have a little shift in our lineup. Mikey Meyer, who's ranked 12th at 138, will be wrestling at 132 this weekend. The Henry Clay shift up, we'll have Richards, who's ranked 15th at 126 here. Then Tristan Garcia and Caden Darbro from St. X are your ranked guys in this weight. So not the, it's kind of our same disappointment from the All-Star. We had a great plan of getting all 4